You're going to see my face because, wait, give me one sec. Okay, can you all see me, everybody?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to talk and give you a little intro first. Also, I just want to say on the 17th, I am, for some reason I have okay. On the 17th, I'm also doing another artist, Amy Sherald. Okay, and these two artists are pretty amazing, and it's pretty incredible with their different styles and what they've done. So are any of you familiar with Romero Bearden and his work?
No.
Okay, so I'm going to
Hold
be,
up,
well, after I start talking, stop talking for a quick second, I'm going to be showing you a lot of his images because they're marvelous. He was born in, would you rather me be small screen or large like this?
Large.
Large.
I'm not getting large.
So
Anyway,
you need to
I'll
go
stay here.
to speaker view, not
I'm sorry?
Okay.
for them, they need to do it, not you, Lisa. They need to go to speaker view.
Okay, everybody good?
Yeah. And but
Okay.
just so everybody knows, once we start the PowerPoint, that's all you'll see, and you'll hear Lisa talking in the background.
Okay. He was born in 1911 and he died in 1988. So we're talking about a relatively, new artist, so to speak. I mean, we're not talking 1700s, 1800s. We're kind of talking, 20 years ago. Okay, now he is recognized actually as one of the most creative and visual artists of the 20th century. And what's very incredible about him is this is a man, and he was steeped in the arts because of his parents and his grandparents. But I've just got to tell you this quickly. His parents wanted him to go into pre-med. It's like every parent in the world, it's like, oh my God, be a doctor, be a doctor. So anyway, I have to say that he's very well known for his use of different mediums and artistic styles. Now, I just want to ask you all a quick question. Do all of you know what collage is?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't need to explain the art of collage. Okay, because that's one of the things he really hit the map using his collages. But he also painted in very many other mediums as well. But the collage work is the most extraordinary, I feel. He also did watercolor. He worked in gouache. He worked in oil. He did prints, and he did murals. And he also got into costume design, and he did costumes for the Alvin Ailey dance group. So this guy is, a really big deal. Okay, so you can all see the portrait of him here. Everybody?
Yes.
Now, are you all thinking he looks like a white man?
Yes.
It's very, very interesting because he's Black. He was very, very light skinned, and many people opted to quote pass, and be white. And people still do that. Romero Bearden decided, I am not doing that. My culture means too much to me. And he was known as a Black African-American artist. So kudos to him, because in 1911, things were not so great. Okay, they're still not so great, but I'm just saying, he said, I am a Black man, and I am a proud Black man. So again, he ended up, it was very important for him to achieve respect and equality as a Black artist. Okay, and his themes, as you will see, it's very much about the subject of Black life, so to speak, but he crossed all barriers. Okay, as I said, he was born in 1911 to Howard and Bessie Bearden in North Carolina. Okay, he had exceptional talent, and he died at the age of 76, and he produced a phenomenal amount of work. It's incredible because not only was he a painter, before he was a painter, I mean, he was always working in art. He was a social worker in Harlem. Okay, so here we go. He began college. I'm just going to give you a quick update before we go into the images. He began college at Lincoln University, transferred to BU, and completed his studies at NYU. Okay, and while he was doing this, he took extensive courses in art. Okay, and he became the lead cartoonist for many, many college publications. He was the art director of Beanpot for Boston University, and he was also the artist for the Medley, which is at NYU. At the same time, he was also studying at the Art Students League, and later on, he went to the Sorbonne in Paris. Okay, so that's kind of his background. So let's kind of talk about some of the pictures now, and I'll talk to you about some of the images. Okay, this one was quite early on in his life, and I think it's very interesting. This was called Figure with Bird, painted in 1946. For all of you who are familiar with art, do you not see the cubist aspects to this?
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
very, very interesting, I feel. It's very quick. It was done in watercolor, and you'll see how his style evolved. Now, in 1946, he was in his 30s, okay? And I'm doing some quick math here. So let's take a look at that, and it's watercolor, and as I said, 1946. We're going to jump ahead to 1964, 20 years later, and we're going to do Pittsburgh Memory, okay?
So do I need to go to the next one?
Yes, please, I'm sorry.
No.
Okay. Here we go with the introduction of collage work. He's also painting in oil. This piece is one of the pieces that really started to call national attention. And again, he's still working as a social worker, mind you. Okay. Do you all see the collage pieces
Yes.
here?
Yep.
Incredible. Incredible mood. It shows a splintered feeling. It shows a lot of searching. And again, I have to tell you this, working in collage is no picnic for any of you who may have tried it. A lot of gluing, making sure it's dry. You'll see some coming up soon with an oil painting background. That has to be dry. And when a collage artist is working, he's working, with scissors, glue, different types of glue, matte medium, and also a lot of patience, because these pieces fly all over the place. Okay, collage artists often have extensive scrap files, but still you're dealing with tiny little bits of paper that can easily get lost or stuck to the underside of something else that they're working on. So now we're going to move on to Jazz Village, which was done 3 years later. Okay, here you'll see the famous collage pieces. You'll see oil paint back here in this blue background. Can you see that oil?
Mhm.
Okay, so it's a mixed medium thing. The background, you also can see some ochres and terracotta colors. And again, then he's putting his collage musicians right on top of that.
Oh.
And I think it's extraordinary. I think it's absolutely extraordinary. And I have to tell you this. Again, he joined the Harlem, became part of the Harlem art experience, which was going on. It was a Renaissance, the Harlem Renaissance. And that was an incredible time in history, not only for artists, for musicians, for dance, for writers, and it was all up in Harlem, and it was like Cafe Society in Paris. This was Harlem's answer to it. And we're talking about, people like James Baldwin, Langston Hughes, I mean, many, many different artists. And it was a fascinating rebirth. Okay, so again, the thing is, after he was joined up, he also painted a lot. Now, this particular painting is called The Gamble in 1968. Hence, can you see the cards?
Yeah.
Okay. And you can see the bright colored backgrounds, and you can see the collaged people. Does anybody have any comments that they want to make on this?
just need to unmute yourself.
I'm sorry?
If anyone wants to say anything, they can unmute themselves
Oh, okay.
or raise their hand,
Okay.
or just go ahead
Anyway,
and say
guys,
something.
so you can see his signature in the up left corner, okay? And again, as he was painting, he was also studying a lot. And he was very influenced by a lot of Western masters, from Cézanne to Picasso to Matisse. He also loved Byzantine mosaics, and he also loved Chinese landscape. Put them all together with his exposure to art, poetry, and music, and we see a style starting to evolve. All right, so let's move on to summer recollections.
Hmm.
Okay, can all of you see this?
Yeah.
Color, everybody.
Yep, we can.
I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Loose, wet oil, I'm sorry. Okay, there's a difference. So you can all see, I mean, he has an extraordinary whimsical approach to his work, but he has solid foundation. Okay, this is just all painted in. It's a series of paintings done in 1970 through 73. Okay. And again, you can see those wonderful earth tones. He's using complementary colors. Notice he's not using black paint, all right? He's using a dark violet and blue. Can all of you see that?
Mhm.
For any of you who take my art classes, I'm always screaming, don't use black as a color. This is why you get a much more subtle, detailed approach, richer approach, I feel, using a dark blue or purple color in the family. Okay, shall we move on? Okay, I love this one. It's called The Block, and it was painted in 1971. Most of his work was really, he was most prolific in his 70s until he died, okay? But again, remember, in the 60s and all, you didn't see as much because he had another job. Now, what's particularly interesting about this particular piece is that you almost see island colors for the background. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, before I hyperventilate, I just had to take a sip. He spent, once he married, and I'll talk to you about that in a second, in the early 70s. Now, this was in 1971. He married, and he and his wife established a second residence on St. Martin in the Caribbean. Okay, in many islands, you see those bright island colors. Houses are painted those colors. Interiors are painted those colors. So you're seeing the Caribbean colors, the island colors, being brought up into an urban scene. The Block. Okay, you can see what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay. Up here, can you all see that? Tell me what you think. Any thoughts? It's a little hard to see, I know. We're losing something in translation.
Up where?
I'm sorry, upper right-hand corner. I keep,
Oh, it looks like a person.
Angel?
Oh, yeah. An angel.
exactly. You see an
angel.
angel on top, and you
Yep.
sort of see a religious kind of thing going on above.
Yeah.
Which I think is really interesting
Mhm.
because
Oh.
you're starting out from left to right, right? And it's very symmetrical and very mapped out. By the time you get to the right side of the picture, it becomes very active. Okay? So it's almost like two paintings going on. Anybody have any questions on this one?
It's almost like you're looking into people's apartments.
Little bit,
You
little
know,
bit.
The fellow
Like-
on the stairwell, like he's in deep thought about something. And then the other,
Stairwell. The gray
Middle.
stairwell you're talking about?
yeah,
Middle, basically, yeah.
yeah, it's like he's
Oh,
in
yeah, I
deep thought.
see.
And then,
Yep.
and then to the left of him looks like someone's apartment. I guess they're doing something there.
Absolutely, but it's still very geometric in formation. Do you know what I'm saying? Squares, rectangles, and everything. As we get over to the angel scene, it gets a whole lot busier. And notice, we're looking down into the building.
There's,
it's a
there's two
funeral
angels.
home.
One's on top and the
I'm
orange
sorry?
part. There's two angels. There's
yes.
one on top and the orange
Mhm.
section.
Exactly. Here's
but
the
it-
halo down here,
Yeah, but there's a funeral going on at the base.
down there. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, the block, life in Harlem. Okay. So
Wow.
it's interesting. You're getting an island feeling, you're getting an urban feeling, right? And you're also, it's got a religious aura to it too. So it's a very complicated piece.
So on
And-
the bottom, the left building in the doorway, it looks like there's a face that
Right here. I don't
yeah,
know
the
if you can
blue-
see my arrow or not.
No, we don't
no,
see
they
it.
can't see it. But the left blue, I guess, I don't know if you guys can see
Yeah, yeah,
that.
that.
Right there.
Yep.
Looks like Alfred Hitchcock.
Yes.
Yeah, it does look like it.
Who also looks like Mitch McConnell in profile. So anyway, if you also move on to the gray doorway, there's a little person
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
area. A very
Right here.
serious,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Mm,
There's a
yeah.
lot going on here. A lot. But let's move on to the next one, okay? Okay, I love this. Hatchet Man.
Oh.
Is that not cool?
Very.
Okay. Again, you can see his signature in the lower lower left corner is very, it's a cursive and it's very loose and relaxed. It's bold. He's not hiding anything. Okay.
Did you say it's called Hatchet Man?
Hatchet Man, yes.
Ah.
Okay.
Is this a collage, Lisa?
It's both. The background is probably very smooth oil application. That salmon color, really, really smoothly applied. Okay. Once that's down,
Is it,
I'm sorry, Lori. Yes?
is it an island painting from St.
I'm
From St.
sorry.
Mark.
I'm not catching you.
It looks like it's from his island where he lived in the Caribbean.
Could be. Again, though, you see how you see the collage on the bottom of the thing he's wearing. It's thatch, it's grasses, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
The skirt, so to speak, those geometric
Yeah.
shapes, very African looking, like a shield or something. All right. What I love so much about it is look at the angle that he's done.
Yeah.
And again, if I were here with a pointer, I could show you. You see what he's holding in his hand, that sort of spear kind of thing?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, diagonal. His body is also diagonal. Okay, he's really filling up the page with this figure. The face is collage, the hands are painted, his crown, his necklace work, so to speak, or whatever, his beads is collage going down here into the skirt, which I do believe is painted, and then onto collage again. I love it.
Yep. It's
I think-
beautiful.
And again,
I see Matisse and Picasso in there.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And when we're talking about that, which is very, very interesting, you think of other painters like Basquiat, later on in the 1970s and 80s, Basquiat, and there's somebody else. It's like Matisse, Bearden, and then you go Basquiat, if any of you are familiar with him. Lots of artists influence each other throughout history. Okay. So let's go on to our next one. One I love. This is called, it was painted in 1975, the same time as The Hatchet Man. Okay, I just wanted, this one is called The Family. Okay. It was very, very important to him, as with Amy Sherald, who we're doing on the 17th. They wanted to depict African American life. It was important for them to record that because you know why? Nobody else had done it before, which is a really sad commentary on us. So
Right.
here we are in the 20th century, and suddenly we're getting paintings of Black life. Okay, now there is some collage working going on in here as well as painting. If you look at the faces, especially the main character, he is collaged. Okay, he's not painted. Your graphic ochre colors and earth colors in the background, that's all paint. All right, you can see those. Take a look at the table.
Right.
Again, heavily collaged, except for, you see that salmon colored cup or can right there, paint.
Mhm.
All right, so it's extraordinary how he wove the two aspects together. You know, a lot of people hadn't worked in collage before him.
Hmm.
But it's also very interesting. Do you see how he's taking, if you think about that first painting he did in 1946 with that cubist feeling, you're kind of seeing cubist division going on in here. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
This is a cube right here, right?
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
The apron is very cubey.
That's an important shape in that painting. I'm glad you pointed it out, Jason. You know why? It brings you right into the scene.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
If it had something else going on there, it could have gotten borderline busy.
What about the eye on what looks like the milk carton he's holding?
I don't know. I'll be honest, I have no clue.
What about the big hand that?
I
that
know.
person-
The big
That-
hand is.
The big green hand reaching in.
Yeah, it has
Yeah.
to mean something.
It's just, I think, again, I mean, it's family life. I mean, somebody's reaching in to get something. Look at this figure over here. Somebody sort of loitering in the back, and she's
Mhm.
kind of
Right.
seductive under a
Right.
light,
Yeah, she is.
you know? So
She's
there's a
knit-
lot going on here. It's not necessarily, you know, family life as, you know, sitting and leave it to beaver, so to speak, but, you know, there's stuff. Now, look at the bib. This is, I believe, I'm feeling like it's a bib of his overalls, working
Mhm.
costume
Mhm.
along with the hat.
Mhm.
Well, her
Okay.
dress seems very intricate to me.
I'm sorry?
The orange salmon dress seems a lot more intricate. Just the colors.
Down in here, oh, the salmon dress?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some kind of texturalizing going on in there. I think it's a combination of paint and collage.
Huh.
Okay, he's weaving the two together very carefully. It's
Yeah,
extraordinary.
it is.
And that is a great eye right there. My daughter would be very proud of that. She loves drawing eyeballs.
I know. It's like,
Okay, does anybody have any more comments on this before we move to the train, the next one? No, no. Wait, that got in there.
hmm.
Oh, wait, stay where you are. No, can you go back again, Jason? I'm sorry.
Wow.
Further back?
Just
Well,
above
this
my
is
head.
forward.
No, we want to go backwards. I'm sorry.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, and then onto the family thing. If you go forward,
Let's go
no, that's going
to the
back
family.
again.
Okay.
There we are. Okay, do the next one forward, please. Okay, this one here. It's a
Huh.
simple, untitled watercolor with a touch of collage. What I put this in for, it's just one of his little scrap pieces, so to speak. I love the color.
Yep.
Okay. This
I
was
do too.
done, I believe, in early 70s. So again, by then he's already with his wife and getting island influence. What I think is extraordinary is the design quality in here. Look at the white skirt.
Mhm.
Incredible, incredible balance compared
Mhm.
to what's going on over there.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, to me, my feeling is, because there was no information about this, I think it's somebody working with food, and I see this blue thing on, I'm reading into it. This sort of teal color, it looks to me like some kind of crab.
Mm.
Yeah, blue
I'd
crab.
like you to
Yeah.
come, though at the same time, I'm seeing a leaf up here.
Yeah, I'm seeing
Mhm.
flowers.
And
Me
flowers
too.
as well.
Yeah,
It's
that
like,
looks like the vase.
Yeah, the
kind of like a
vase.
cornucopia.
So
With-
this,
you-
is
do
this
you
a
think-
planter behind right here?
I'm sorry, Jason?
Is this a planter right here
Yeah,
behind?
that's
this
what it looks
shape?
like.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Do you
Could
think
be.
that's his wife?
I'm sorry?
Could that be his wife?
I have no clue. I have nothing on this except number one, it's a painting in watercolor. It's a sketch. And I think the colors are so phenomenal in it.
They
So
are.
besides his collage work, look how lush it is.
Now the
Look at
background,
his- I'm
is that
sorry?
collage? The background, that looks like paper
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
corrugated.
Mhm.
Yeah.
or
Mhm.
striped paper.
Just as you'll see here, there's some collaging going on in the face. And also this almost looks like an X-ray of a hand down here. Okay, I don't know what he was doing, but I'm showing you the simplified because it's a study about color, design, little bit of collage, and it's just a sketch and it's so fabulous.
It's the,
I
it's
have
the
to
first
sit down.
time
I
you see the
love it.
darkness in the face too.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry?
The darkness of the skin in the face.
Yes,
Because
yes.
it wasn't before.
It's gorgeous. Love it. Okay, should we move on to our next one? Anybody know who this is?
Is that James
Is this him?
Baldwin?
James Baldwin looked like.
You got it, guys. You
That's-
won. You won. Again, you see Romero's beard and signature down here, just above my head. It was a title for a book. It is it's all watercolor. Anybody have any thoughts?
Wow, it's
This was
beautiful.
done in, I'm sorry, 1979.
Huh.
I like the shades he used for light and dark,
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
the typical colors that you would think of using.
Beautiful,
It's gorgeous.
isn't it? I also feel like he has a lot of, they're active paintings. This particular one seems musical to me almost, even though James Baldwin was a writer. There's a rhythm to it. And of course, James Baldwin's eyes are just extraordinary. And I think he really showed it.
Yes, he
He
did.
really got
Use that white around there.
I'm
The
sorry?
white around the eye or gray.
Yep.
You know, that outline. It really shows the eye off a lot.
Yes, he was an extraordinary looking man and he caught his likeness beautifully. Let me show you one more thing. Do you see that teal color on the opposite side by his mouth, opposite his signature?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You see how it bleeds out? That little touch of color, imagine it just being white instead.
Huh.
Put your finger over it if you want to hide it. Know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm sorry, Jason, other side.
Oh, this. Okay.
Yeah, that little tealish
Oh.
aqua color stain. I just think it's extraordinary. Do you see what I mean, everybody?
Mhm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
If
It
you block it out with your hand, you still have a beautiful portrait, but there is something about that blue. It helps to give, it extends that, it's a very horizontal kind of painting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is one of my favorites. I just love it. I also love James Baldwin a whole lot.
Yeah.
So anyway, any comments on this before we move on? You're all good?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we can go on to the next one. This one here
Mhm.
is called Falling Star. You all see it?
Yes.
Okay, this
Yeah.
is beauty. Again, it's very geometric, okay? There's a lot of paint, but there is some collage, okay? When somebody mentioned Matisse, indeed so. This is like a typical Matisse drawing. He's using Matisse colors here, which also means that Matisse borrowed island colors, okay? So to
Huh.
speak. Matisse often went to the south of France. We're talking about vivid, vivid color, okay? Now, in her hand, do not think that's a cell phone. It's not. You know, it's glowing. It looks like she's reading it. I really don't know what it is. But at any rate, you can.
I think it's a glass, a
I'm
glass.
sorry?
I think it's
A glass or cup.
It could be, yes.
Take a drink.
I'm sorry if you hear my dog barking. Okay, this is a kind of interesting picture because again, when he went to the islands, now this is like 1980, he's been down in the islands for about 5 years. And island interiors, as I mentioned before, are also painted those very warm colors, okay? Let's talk about this. What do we think is going on here? Anybody have any thoughts?
Well, she's in her living room and she's got the laundry basket. Something has stopped her with the piece in her hand.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Do you think that's a laundry basket, or do you think, this is really wild, that might be some sort of a pet in there? It almost sort of looks like a face with a mouth and an eye.
I'm not, oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
To me, that's just blocked out color. What's more interesting is, look at this pedestal towards the back, outside the room that she's in, with that round circle of collage. I'm sorry, Jason, down to the, there's that purple dot right across. Yeah, look what's going on in here. Now that's very quizzical in that, you know, if you look to the left of this painting, it's very geometric, okay?
Yeah.
The figure of the woman, her clothing is in watercolor, okay? There's a little scrap of collage around her collar. Check out her feet.
They're very
beautiful.
flat looking
I'm sorry?
and very flat, almost like they're shadows.
Yeah.
They're beautifully done. They're beautiful, beautiful shapes. And if you look at the balance between the profile, the feet, and the hands, it's exquisite. All right? Because he's very smart here. If we just had the very dark profile and the hands weren't there or the feet aren't there, that profile would just rule. There'd be a big fight going on between the clothing and the face. You see how black just sucks up energy?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Now,
even in the black part, if you look at her hair, you see shades at the top. And
I'm
then
sorry,
her hands
you said
have
at the
the
end?
white fingernails,
Mm.
even up
absolutely.
here,
Yeah.
and then the earring and the.
Yep.
So even with the, is that black, Lisa? He's done well with the black.
Notice also, Jason, while you're talking about it, look at her hand, not the hand that's holding the cell phone cup or whatever. See the white nails?
Yeah.
That's what.
And the
what
same
caught my eye.
thing up here in the upper hand that she's holding, the nails too.
Mhm.
And
It's
she's got her pinky out. That's what I like. The pinky's out.
And
Oh, with her
look,
cup,
that
with her
black-
cup.
that black
Yeah.
square in the other room, that sort of really, to me at least, really drew me into that room.
Yep.
That black square.
good point. He's very, very good as a designer, so to speak. Not only painter, he knows where to place his colors that in perfect ways and perfect balance. Okay. Any other comments?
Well, I was just noticing, like, he seems to stretch, well, like the James Baldwin head and this woman's head, and some other ones we saw where it looks like he pulls them left to right or whatever
Mm-hmm.
in his.
That's a very good
chisel.
point.
There's-
Again,
there's
very sort
something
of-
with that, I don't know, but that seems to be throughout a lot of things.
seems to work. I think it's really nice, that elongation. I mean, look at the feet down there. Those are long feet.
Well, what about this brown area right here? He really makes this room 3D.
Yep. Yep.
The
Yeah,
brown going across.
You're right, he does.
Yep. He really knows what he's doing. You know how he did it? If you look at that area, do you see the diagonal cut on the side? Right
Mhm.
there,
Mhm.
you're getting a room. He
But-
had a good, solid foundation of all those years of studying, plus
Wow.
his own innate talent. But tell me, guys, what do you think? All right, so we have our falling star here. Okay,
Yes.
very whimsical. I love it. I love it that it's a bright blue sky.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think that is this a bedroom where the pattern is with the roses and like a bedpost? Is that a bedroom?
Possibly, possibly.
Yeah.
But let's get back to the falling star here with that blue. If we had gone with a night sky, what do you think would have happened?
It would have made
Would-
the.
I'm
It
sorry.
That
It
would
would-
really pop.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh,
It really would have taken away a little bit from the woman because something that yellow against something very dark would have really made your eye almost look at that first.
Absolutely. Okay. So again, it's very fanciful, you know, falling star in the day, but again, brilliantly executed in terms of form and color. Okay.
Well, he has her finger pointing to the star in her hand.
Mm-hmm.
Unless she just has her pinky out because she's drinking tea.
Such good manners. Okay. Any other comments before we move along?
No.
Let's go on to our next visual, please. Okay, I put this one in.
Wow, that's really,
Watercolor.
It's
wow.
watercolor.
That's nice.
It's called High Surf. It was done in 1980, so this is 8 years before he died. Is it not beautiful?
Beautiful.
Mhm.
It's beautiful, but what a total almost reversal of everything we've seen
Mhm.
as far as color and the contrast and the brightness. This is so soft.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think this is why he's so phenomenal as an artist. He can do anything. Look how spontaneous this is. And some of his other pieces, and we can go revisit them later on, but nothing is cubed off. This is all circular and oval.
And this is watercolor.
Yeah. And you do get the feeling, do you see? And it's so interesting. High surf. Do you see that busy blue up top?
Yeah.
There you go. That really helps you with your ocean. If you got rid of that, whole other story. Do you see what I'm saying as an artist? Some of it is instinctive. I don't know. Also, this kind of tealy green over here on the, you see what I mean over here? Yeah. That also helps create ocean depth. And these obviously, it's a rock or several, you know, with tide pools and all of that. I just think he's extraordinary. I want to just tell you something. Hang on 1 second.
Now, excuse me, are there people sitting on that rock?
God help them if they are.
Well, it looks
Yeah.
like somebody with a hat. I don't know.
Trying
No.
to see the hat.
I don't think so.
Oh.
I think they would be destroyed.
Well, it just looks like little people to me.
You know, I could see that. And that's the fun of, you know, an abstract look. I mean, he, hang on, I'm just looking for something. You can read into things like this and it's beautiful. Okay, now,
Well,
let's
what's
move
interesting
on
to me,
from
he had such a grasp of squares. The circles look just as good. Or kind of-
okay. I can practically hear this painting. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
I can practically hear it. So let's go on then. What?
Somebody's mute. It's okay. Keep going.
Okay, okay. This is called School Bedtime. Heavy collage, very urban. This was done in 1984, 4 years before he died. So again, he was working right through. Okay, look at those spaces.
Mm.
They're beautiful. Check over here. Oh, sorry, I can't move my arrow. Jason, if you could go to the far
Yeah.
left, we're seeing Picasso,
Right, the eye.
right? The middle child, haunting. Haunting. Okay. I want to ask you this. Which part do you think is collage? Which part do you think is painted, if any?
To me, it looks all collage. Maybe this green on the top might be watercolor greens
What's the back?
color.
I think that's a green painted in, yes. The three faces are all collage, but also notice this. Look between the two faces and you're seeing another face peering
Right.
through,
Oh, yeah.
okay? And on the side of the green figure going to your,
Right.
yeah, there's
Oh,
another.
Right.
I
Another
didn't-
It looks like a little child. They're holding
Yeah.
a baby,
Mhm.
baby girl.
What are your thoughts?
He has a lot going on in his head, this guy.
Yeah. I would say this is one of his busiest pieces. Does it work for you? I mean, not everything can be a masterpiece, right?
I have a feeling though, that I didn't so much feel in the other. This to me is a much more sad picture than the other. Just
Well,
there.
the middle,
and, you know, all of them. I wouldn't say any of the figures are happy looking figures. And the background, it just looks like a setting of poverty,
Mhm.
struggle.
It's
Look like
turbulent.
teenagers.
I'm
And
sorry?
Teenagers, isn't that a radio in the front? Over here?
I think so, yes. Or
Yeah.
some CD player, or I don't know, what electronic thing. But yeah, it's very, I'm sorry.
It's very urban.
It's very urban and gritty.
Look at the bowl. I mean, that is amazing.
Mhm.
I mean, the more you look, the more you see.
Yeah.
And again, I'm only showing 20 images. This guy, tons. Okay. Now, at this point in his life, he's a highly recognized artist. He won many, many, many awards. It wasn't like he was an unnoticed painter. He had a lot of success. And I say, thank God, okay? His work during his lifetime, he went all over the United States with his work in galleries and Europe, okay? He was, not a shy guy in terms of recognition, thank God, because, people just fell in love with his work. And it's very, very inventive for that time, okay? 60s, 70s, very unusual work. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. Okay. This was in 1984. Now, this is a painting. I'm not sure if I've got the correct pronunciation, so forgive me if I'm wrong. Obeah, Obeah, in a trance. Okay, this is about sacred. It's a sacred painting. It's very, very. It's like about mysticism. Okay, she is kind of, what would we say, the shaman, so to speak. Okay. She's looking, do we find her evil?
Well, is she holding a baby in her
It
arms?
looks like a baby.
Yep,
Like a head,
exactly.
cloth. And I can't reconcile the look on her face with the
What do you-
little baby, I'm just finding that, I don't know what I'm finding it, because you would expect to see like a mother's face, something soft holding her baby, and yet you
Very
have this, almost like a grotesque face.
It's very haunted looking. There's something very haunting about that quality. Okay, now, again, let's look back here. I don't know if many of you are familiar with Chagall's work. He's a
Yes.
whimsical painter. That little section up here, oh, I'm sorry, I'm moving my arrow. That little section of the sun and around it
Mhm.
Yeah.
is very, very whimsical. All right, done in oil, but very light and whimsical. Now we're looking down. She's are you drawn immediately to her?
Oh,
Let me
yeah.
ask you this.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
Look the opposite side. There's another figure in profile,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and he's holding some kind of couplet. And the fact that it's in a gold kind of shiny quality feeling, I just feel like there's something kind of sacred
Ritual.
and mystical about it.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, I also feel like if you look at the horizontal gold band, so to speak, where the woman's hand is like, it's almost like she's pushing apart, pushing past. Do you see what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay,
How about
so we
this?
get the feeling, do we feel like we're looking in on a family?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, is that a church in the background or no?
Could be.
No, yeah.
Yeah. What is,
It's very, very interesting because if it's a church, because we do see a bell up there, right? It's very flat and geometric compared to everything else that is going on in this painting. And you see the green around the family, again, very geometric. Painted in first, the collage put in later. Any thoughts on this?
Well, what do you think of the people that are sitting there?
What do
What
I
are-
think of them meaning?
I mean, what purpose might they have?
What purpose? Something about the family unit, I feel.
Mhm.
Sorry, wait, let me just see something here. My phone is misbehaving and I'm getting distracted. Okay. I don't know specifically. I feel like it has to do with the family unit.
Do you think her hand is sort of pointing towards the family out and outside, almost like she's reaching towards them, even though she's not facing?
Something's going on, just as the same as the hand with the goblet. There are two grounding forces kind of going in. So you zoom in, you go right into the family.
right.
After
And
you
they
finish.
dress like families who come from church on
Church,
Sunday.
yeah.
They
Yeah,
always
it looks
dress
like they're
up.
going to church.
Yeah.
And the woman looks like she's got a wedding ring.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
and white, because they're in white.
Yes, Sunday church.
Yeah.
So we're solving a puzzle here because there's a lot
Maybe.
of elements.
A lot. I see it being a little demons coming out after they went into the church.
Well, this is the thing that puzzles me. We've got all that going on. I still go back to her face, right?
Yeah.
What is he telling us?
All right, I don't think this is what it is, but I'm just throwing this out there. Because the family in the back, except for the gentleman, they're wearing white. And even the other, I guess it's a lady, her clothes are very light, and that could be like a funeral. And maybe that's why the mother has this very upset, angry, whatever you want to call it look. Maybe this is the father of her child that's died.
Oh, God.
I'm just, I said, I'm just throwing it out there. I don't.
Wouldn't they be dressed in black though? I mean,
Oh,
Well,
God.
No, they wear white to funerals too.
Mourning.
Okay.
In some cultures.
White. Okay, cool. Mysterious.
what about the flower connecting them?
Yeah.
Mm.
Design wise, I have a real problem with them. Look at me saying this about Bearden's work. I don't know, are they necessary? I'm not sure.
Well, it does sort of connect the mother Instead of just having green and then the family, there's almost like a flowing connection of color
Yeah.
into the family.
Is this a door right here?
A door by the mother?
Yes. What it,
I think
Is-
that's what we asked
That
for
looks like a-
earlier.
Like a post.
I'm not sure. You know why? I originally thought it was a door, but as I began to study it, look how the scribbly background goes through that. Okay? So
You
maybe
think
it's a beam
porch?
on a porch or something. But again, I want to show you one more point before we move on. And that is this. Wait, I'm going to hyperventilate again as I drink my cranberry juice. Now, we know how exact he is. I mean, with his cutting and his shapes and his rendering and all of that. Check out the two different perspectives of the church. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
Mhm.
noticed.
The angled there and perspective, but on the other side, it's flat,
Mhm.
very childlike. There's a
And the
lot
sky-
going on.
The sky is very childlike also.
Yes. And the green bush, you know, the green,
Yeah.
very scribbled. So there's a lot of different styles going on here. Another point I'm going to make, the profile with the face, you know, with a goblet,
Mhm.
that eye is not white, it's green.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Could that be a bell and not a goblet, Lisa?
I'm sorry, Jason?
Could it be a bell, like a little bell like he's ringing?
I'm not
No.
hearing you, excuse me?
Could it be a bell, like a little?
Oh, a bell. Oh, like she's ring. That's possible. It's very
You know what?
possible.
I'm just thinking that this woman with this baby, she's cast out from this family. Like she has a baby there and she's
Mhm.
not part of that family. It's like she's cast out.
I agree with you, frankly. But I mean, this family is a solid unit. Okay, they're in there. These two figures are meant to draw you in. Outside influences, again, we're talking about something sacred and mystical. I honestly don't know.
And I don't,
That
I
would-
think the
that-
one on the
if she
right
was-
is a woman because she's got an
Yeah,
earring.
the woman,
Yeah, it's a
yeah.
woman on the right.
yes. She's
Mhm.
got, you know, like the lace and she has an earring.
Yes.
I
Yeah, she
totally
has lace.
understand who that woman is on the right. To me, she doesn't seem to fit in. Design wise, I could see it, but as far as the story goes, I can't figure out who she is.
Well, she might be toasting the family, and then this other one on the other side, you know, she has this baby, maybe she has no husband, she's angry, she's left out.
We're
don't
not
know.
really going to know unless we did a
Woman
complete
Right,
study.
is right at the mother. She's not looking at the family.
Because she's
Whatever's
not a
going
part of
on-
it. Because she's
Again,
not a-
everybody,
I feel like everybody's looking at her. If you look at where they're looking, they're all looking at the mom.
I mean, yeah, she's shocking. She's very, very shocking. I love that headscarf, by the way.
Yeah, and that,
Okay. Collage.
That's
We could read
collage.
into this. This could be a whole study of this painting.
We're-
Again,
a psychological
showing you-
study of our minds.
yeah. And again, just remember, it's tied in.
The
with
Rorschach
mysticism.
test.
Okay, Jason, should we go to the other one? Next one, please. Okay, I love this. It's called Blue River. It's watercolor. Home in the Caribbean. It's 2 years before he died, 1986. Some of you might feel that it's very, very muddy. Again, he's getting older at this point. You know,
What is that? What is that black part that looks like a helmet?
I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't.
I
honestly-
thought when I first looked at this and I saw the ocean behind, that he was some kind of a deep sea diver.
Yeah, right.
with Boots on.
he's
Right.
looking like he's wearing, like has a crab necklace. Looks like a crab is wrapped
Yeah.
around the neck.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I don't think it's too important to break him down as what he is necessarily. I think it's more how this is all blending watercolor, and I wanted to get into that, except for that necklace, which I love a lot. Look at the light white reflections of the light, which is so brilliant. That white, the white, it's where it gets really dark. It's saved, I feel, by the light highlights.
Are those collage pieces or pure, maybe he
This is
masked
pure
them?
watercolor, just
Okay.
watercolor. Okay, do we feel it's muddy? Do we like it? What do we think? Very different.
this
Looks
is my
like-
least favorite of all the pictures we've seen, without a doubt. I loved all the others. I can't say I love this picture.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about it, but the colors I like.
Again, I think it's very interesting. It's not one of my favorites either. By a long shot, I question, do you see the sun rays that are kind of above that big orb
Mm-hmm.
of the sun? Very childlike, very
Yeah.
childlike. But I do think it's very interesting what goes on with the yellow ochre, that deep yellow, and the blues. I think it's a beautiful color display.
Hi, Beanie.
Okay, let's move
Right.
on to the second to the last one. This is called Solo. Done.
Pretty.
That's pretty.
Wait.
Mm-hmm.
This is not, I'm sorry, this is an untitled one, excuse me. Watercolor, down in the tropics, okay?
Pretty
Look
colors.
how his
Yeah, that's
style
pretty.
changes from the sharp edge collage pieces to something so luminous as this. How he gets that beautiful glowing light in this painting.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It is
You
pretty.
really feel it. Of course, you can see the bird in the foreground. This paint, I mean, you just really want to be there, don't you?
Yeah, especially now when this cold weather.
Especially. And also, if you notice the rocks on the left side, they look effortless. Quick painting. Okay?
The yellow shadows of the trees pieces have a very collagey
Absolutely.
shape.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Linda. They aren't collage. It almost looks they were
Right.
stenciled out. They're sort
Mhm.
of like butterfly patterns.
Yeah, but they really create a mood.
Oh, totally. And if we didn't have that haze in the center, that sort of
Yeah.
clouded,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that is such a mood creator. It's a beautiful, beautiful little watercolor. Okay, let's go back. We're going to finish up with his oh wait, I'm going to this one. I'm sorry, it's not the left. Sorry, this is called, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, great. This is called Solo, painted in 1987, the year before he died. What do y'all think? I love this.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
me too.
Jazz musician.
Yeah, great.
I mean, I think it's brilliant for so many reasons.
And so he's using like pen and ink.
There is pen and ink in there, yes,
Mm.
and watercolor. I
Right.
think probably what happens, you have to apply your pen and ink after you've done your watercolor because it'll bleed. You'll
Yeah.
get mud. And you can see, it's okay though. I'm pointing and you can't see me. On the saxophone, excuse me, on the edge of the saxophone, a little bit of his bleeding.
Yeah.
Sure
Mhm.
knows how to control it. No accidents here.
Yeah. I love the way he's done the face.
Mhm.
Yeah.
With white, little bit for the eyes, but you could tell that it's a face.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, he uses that wonderful background, and it's not black, it's greenish, darkish blue gray, which offsets the beauty of the color in the suit and the instrument.
Mm.
It's a beautiful, I love it. I just love it. Okay, let's go back to his, we're going to go ahead now to his our last piece and his most famous piece. This is called Mecklenburg Morning, painted right before he died. So if we just think of the mood that we just saw, and now here again, we're going back to that very ordered sort of cubist kind of look. It's remarkable, don't you think?
Mhm.
Simpler. It's also simpler than his other work.
Yeah.
He's calmer, it looks like.
And is this one all paint?
It's paint, I would say, yeah. Okay, very flat application of oil paint. You
What
know,
about the light with that
I'm sorry?
flower? What about the light with the flower? Do you think
That's
that
the
might?
only thing I question. But somehow I don't think he would just put a little scrap of collage in there, knowing what we've seen leading up to this. Okay,
Yeah.
small brush, quick painting. But again, beautiful Caribbean colors. People are getting ready in the morning, family life, slightly cubistic, and the public loves this.
What's the name again?
It's called Mecklenburg Morning.
You know, it kind of reminds me of a little bit of Grandma Moses.
Interesting.
Mhm.
The style, the flat style that she used in her paintings.
Lisa, how large are his paintings? Because you can never tell if you look, when you say a nice little watercolor, then I'm like, well, how small is it? How
They're
big are
not
these?
tiny, tiny, but they're not huge, huge. I don't have the
Okay.
specific measurements.
No,
Okay?
but they're
My
not like
mistake.
big canvases or
No.
anything.
No, they're not gigantic. Amy Sherrill, our next artist on the 17th,
She's huge. Yeah,
Okay.
the Obamas.
Oh, you're giving it away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. So anyway, I just wanted to tell you a few more little facts about him. No children. He had a really happy life. Obviously a man of social intent in the fact that he did work as a social worker. Remember that early on in the 60s. Joining up, hooking in with the Harlem Renaissance, which is that marvelous rebirth, writers, painters, artists, and musicians. And it was very, very, very important to him, all of that. And showing, Black life, so to speak. We don't see much of this. We're starting to see it more as we go along. He wanted, as I said, remember, he was very light-skinned. He could have, quote, passed. It was extremely important for him to devote most of his art to Afro-American art and the struggle of Blacks to create quality, respect and equality. Okay.
Where is he buried, Lisa? Do you
Where
know?
is he buried?
Yes. Is he in the Caribbean or is he, I feel like he'd be.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Look
Good.
it up on Wikipedia.
Yes, you
I'll
sure
find
could.
out
Right
next
away.
next
You
time.
find the answer in 2 seconds. What do you all
I just
think?
want to
of
know
this?
if he enjoyed the Caribbean life more or living in the US.
That's interesting. What
You
do
could
you all
tell
think?
that his wife had an influence on him at some point.
Profound.
Yeah.
Profound.
Mm.
Nanette was her name. Nanette Rohan. Okay. And yeah.
Was she from New York or was she from the
You met her
Caribbean?
in New York. Yes.
I mean, because it's a good mix of the Caribbean life and New York.
Yes. Yeah.
What's unique about it?
I love it. I love
City
it. I
life
think he
versus island
my
life.
feeling is he loved both. Some of the city ones, the urban ones, were much more turbulent, obviously, than the Caribbean ones.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but don't you think city life is much more turbulent than
You
the
bet.
Caribbean?
You
So-
bet. Always will be.
Gritty.
So I'm just going to say here, we have a few more minutes left. We can do a run through or we can go comments. Is there any?
Run through,
Anybody?
run
Jason's
through.
going to kill me. Okay, let's do this quickly, just so you see his different styles. If you could keep on going backwards, Jason. Okay. And there's our
Very
name.
good.
How do you spell his last name?
Oh, okay. Beard, like a beard, and then En. Okay, so quite a man.
Yeah.
You know, he spanned just a huge, what is it? A huge range with his watercolors, his tighter colors, his very busy collages. I just think he was incredible. Okay, so again, what you're seeing here in his life, what I've hoped to show you in representation is we're talking about Mecklenburg County, North Carolina, Pittsburgh, and Harlem. Okay, and the Caribbean. So that was his life, and you sure see it in his pictures. Oh God, I'm back. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you so much.
I hope I see you on the
Thank you.
17th.
Yeah,
Thank you
we'll
so
be doing
much,
another one on
Lisa.
Thank
the
you,
17th.
Lisa.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody, for
Good
coming.
job.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Jason, thank you for your help, Jason.
I think it went very well.
Yeah.
Bye,
And I
Jason.
recorded